What the fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Man, you know it's hot pot summer, hot network summer, man.
Facts. Before we really get into the nitty gritty, first off, we have a big announcement. We're extremely thrilled to launch our new partnership with RxHemp.com. To celebrate this, we're giving away 4 amazing CBD creams, 2 hot therapy and 2 cold therapy. All you have to do to be eligible is simply retweet that tweet and follow Unwrapped Sports on Twitter. I'm going to unfollow them, Rashad, and then follow back so I can get myself eligible because my knees need it right now.
Trying to do the finesse.
Yeah, maybe they let me win just because I'm part of the culture, man.
You're part of the crew.
Part of the crew. So check that out. RxHemp.com. Like I said, we've given away 4 creams. All you gotta do is retweet and follow. Simple rules. Nobody can mess that up.
Man, it's too easy. Like, if you can't do that before, you know, a follow and a tweet, come on, man. You shouldn't even be on social media. You can't do that.
Exactly. All right, man. So first off, this is fun. This is like kind of like the first week we're doing this. They had to unwrap this panel with baseball. I think they did the UFC fight over the weekend. They did that one. That was pretty cool too. So no, now they putting the shows out
Shout
here.
out Max Holloway, man. He got robbed.
He definitely did. Shout out to our very own writer for the Prophets Pod, Corbin. He won 4 out of 5, man. I mean, this is why we the Prophets, man. We got guys who know what they're talking about. 4 out of 5, including the Max Holloway robbery, so it's all good. If you had bet money on it, you probably would have came away with a little cheddar.
Hey, just don't do no 5-fight parlay. You gonna get messed up.
Hey, trying to tell you, I lost a lot of bets like that trying to go big and go home. So we got a good show for y'all, right? So we kind of do something different, and what we're gonna do is you see this thing on Twitter, right? With the villain, and then who actually is the villain. So I thought it was a good idea. You did too about bringing in sports in this and actually talking about who was the villain at the time, but who really when you look at it, this really is the villain. So I mean we only going live about 30 minutes, so we can go and hop right into it. So we're gonna start off with a guy who just got signed. He finally back to NBA. He was going crazy on Insta Live, and NBA shut him down.
He is the MVP of the bubble
already. Just started.
The MVP of the Orlando bubble, man.
Just started, yeah. And I mean, it's another than I guess the villain of the Cavs. And what year was this? This was 2000. The last one.
That was 2018.
2018, and because of this, basically he got put out the league. And then he found his way back, and that's no other than J.R. Smith.
Yes, man. Swish
Ooh.
kind of caught a bad rap for something, that personally, when you playing basketball, you should always be aware of the time, situation, timeouts, where's everybody positioned on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of got caught in the moment. I guess he kind of had a little mental lapse, which, you're game one, NBA Finals. Things happen.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, he's solely hated on that he didn't put up a shot. Because you're talking about somebody who kind of ruined a magical game for LeBron James. I think this was, as far as a outmatched opponent.
Man, in my opinion, this is the greatest basketball game ever played by one player.
Ooh. Even better than Allen
Like, he lost.
Against the Lakers?
He lost. He lost, man. This is the greatest basketball game by one individual
Yeah,
player.
and it's kind of
This game and the '98 Game 6 by Michael Jordan. Those are two best games. If you watch those from start to finish, those are the two most dominant games I've ever saw. Like they control the
yeah.
game from every aspect. They didn't let the team fold when you know a clutch basket need to be made or a clutch pass. Him and Mike, those two games right there, man. They kept their team in the game single handedly, pretty much.
Yeah,
They didn't have anything. That was Scotty bad back and all. Dennis out of shape. You know, Tony wasn't really Tony. Like he was having a kind of a rough series. Then you got LeBron. He had no more Kyrie. You know, your next best player was pretty much just J.R. Smith.
they
George
traded half the
Hill,
team at the
because no
deadline.
Isaiah Thomas. You had Tristan Thompson still, but he didn't really have that kind of KD, Steph, Clay. He didn't really have that second go-to guy like that.
Not on the same level at all. You talk about a team who traded, they have their team at the trade deadline, and then on top of that, you're talking about, like you said, the greatest performance, and it's so bad to waste it like this versus a team that you're not as talented as, and that was the whole reason. And he was the talk of the town, the joke of everybody, butt of everybody jokes, and it's really simply because he didn't shoot the ball. Like he probably would have missed.
I can't even say that. I can't even say it because he didn't shoot it. I gotta say it's because he didn't shoot it, pass it,
nothing,
try to lay it up or anything. Like he just kind of just dribbled it out, froze. Like he didn't do anything you should do in that situation. He didn't know there was a timeout, so he didn't call timeout. He didn't go for a putback layup. He didn't run out to the 3-point line, get up a crazy shot. LeBron's calling, screaming, clapping for it. He didn't kick it to LeBron from the three. So, you know, all basketball situations, he didn't really answer the bell at that point. But as we'll talk about soon, it kind of wasn't his fault.
You know what's funny? It's kind of like you ever seen those movies, the basketball movies, where like the time is going down and they be like all dramatic and going slow. You be like, man, how you do all this in 3 seconds? Like,
bro, I'm gonna tell you the best, and this is definitely the worst example. That movie from Disney, the
Double Team.
Team,
That's what I was thinking about.
Weak behind move.
But she was
weak behind move. Like, yo, you didn't have no burst of speed at all. And how you did all that still
in a behind the back pass, behind the back pass cross court for 3. Yeah, man, that's
in like 2.5 seconds. Like, come on, man. Like,
exactly.
Disney know better than that.
So J.R. Smith probably thought, man, this was that dramatic time, and time was going slow. That's why he wasted so long. And he looked at the clock like, oh, damn, we lost. Like, no, he lost. We go overtime now. Like. And
like,
what's the overtime?
The domino effect of what happened after that was crazy. LeBron went and broke his hand, and you got to think about if they win that game, that swings that series because you know the Warriors are still considered amongst one of the most talented teams ever. But what if that talented team goes down 1-0, and then now, you know, game 2 they have to respond game 2, and even games 3 and 4 in Cleveland, you could still probably get a 2-2 split. LeBron doesn't break his hand and. He had been on a crazy run that entire playoff series, going 7 with the Pacers and Celtics, and I mean, dude was on a tear that year. That's probably outside of 2013. That's probably his greatest season ever.
Yeah, what I think is funny is if you win that game, well, the reason why when you lose a game, it kind of demoralizes the whole situation, and you have no chance now. That's the game you're supposed to win.
Oh, yeah.
You let up, like you said, when you're not as dominant as the other team, you have to take advantage of the opportunities, and like you said, it swings the whole thing around. And like you going back home to Cleveland, 1-1, you got what you went to do what you came to do, and now you got a chance to take care of home court. And who knows, Cleveland, strange things happens in Cleveland. We all know. So,
but that's the point. We got to talk about the real villain. JR is the perceived villain. Mm-hmm. But the real villain, is George freaking Hill.
Yes.
Like, dude, all you had to do was make the free throw.
Make it.
Like you put JR in that position.
Yeah. You're the reason why JR get all the clown jokes, and you're considered the savvy veteran that Spurs had, the Pacers. Even the Cavs, why they picked you up, and now the Bucks are picking you up for the same reason. You get away with this. While J.R. Smith, he loses this game, they get swept. He's out the league.
Nobody even outside of that the next day, nobody even bothers to mention how JR got put in that predicament. George Hill missed the free throw that led to it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, JR didn't shoot the ball, he didn't pass to LeBron, but nobody talks about what really led to that scenario, and it was George Hill not making the free throw.
Mm-hmm. I'm about to say,
Like that's all he had. That's all he had to do. Like he
it's
hit the first one, swish.
the pressure, man. The pressure built up, and that's crazy. Like we talk about how dramatic JR was, but like George Hill had a little episode right there where he stunned, like he missed he missed the free throw, and he got you get lucky when somebody like that, like J.R. Smith, make a move like that, and like you like, oh, let me go high because they forgot about me. So that's the real villain in this whole situation, man.
Like he didn't come out and say anything, like, hey, I really should have made that. Don't blame JR. It's everybody kind of said, hey, it's on everybody and stuff like that. And then, look how LeBron, kind of reacted. Yo, Ty Lue, we got a timeout. We didn't call a timeout and all that kind of stuff. But it's George Hill's fault, man. Like if you nail that free throw, it's only. I mean, you made the smart. He made the smart basketball play of even cutting to the basket to get fouled by Clay. So that was veteran savvy right there. Right. You got to think about all those playoff moments with the Pacers and the Spurs. You've been in big moments before. You're a very good free throw shooter.
I would say one you
needed. Yeah, that one he needed, man.
They traded for you for this situation. Like they got rid of the whole roster, revamped it just for a guy like this to be there and be like, okay, here's my chance. Like you said, everything he did right before that was perfect. Made the first free throw. You make this, you go up game one. Now, granted, who knows? You got Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Curry on another team with 3 to 4 seconds. Things can happen. But you don't put no pressure at all on the Warriors. And once you get overtime, tie game, barbecue chicken Warriors. Like that's
you were lucky to even based upon the talent level, they were lucky to even be in that position to be there to tie.
Right.
But you got to near that free throw, man, and at least give you guys a chance to win the game because once that happened, overtime, everybody's deflated, and now the entire series they were deflated. Mm-hmm. They could at least made it interesting.
Right. Otherwise, we got a damn sweep. Let's go on to another villain, and he got killed, and he can't defend himself. First off, and not one part, not 2 parts, not 3 parts. 10-part documentary on this one guy and about this final season. And I'm talking about The Last Dance. Jerry Krause was the villain in this story.
Unfortunately, yes, but man, Jerry Krause should have really gotten, like you said, it's unfortunate he's not here to defend himself, but he really should have gotten more praise than he did because, he didn't draft Michael Jordan, but all the pieces that helped make the Bulls into a championship team, he drafted them, he traded for them, or he signed them. So, that wasn't really highlighted as it should have been. It was mostly about, hey, Michael did this, Phil did this, Tex Winter did this,
right.
Gotti did this, Dennis added this, Horace added this. All Jerry Krause kept getting was, short jokes.
Man can't ride the ride.
Man, they could have gave Jerry some more flowers while he was still here, man.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. I mean, yes. All right. So they pinpoint to him like, I don't care if you go 82-0, Phil Jackson, you're not coming back. The rumors about Scottie getting traded for T-Mac.
Man, they were treating Jerry Krause how they treating Tory Lanez right now. When you stand up, you still the same size. You saw.
I know you saw that video. They said about Tory Lanez getting carried off to the police car with a little kid. That was funny.
Man, I saw that, and they were like, look at him looking at Megan Thee Stallion on all the roller coaster rides and stuff.
Because he too short to ride. I mean, but look, the brilliance of this of him going to get Tony Kukoc across the, overseas doing that, all that stuff, and going to get him. Like you said, you draft Scottie Pippen at front. Come on, look at the college he went to. How are you finding this guy? How are you finding Dennis Rodman? I mean, I know you signed him, but it's like, how are you? No, okay, if we get Dennis, boom, we here. Like you took that break with Horace Grant. Jordan comes back, they were still a playoff team. Now,
man, I think the most underrated move he made that nobody really talks about is they went and got Ron Harper And like Ron Harper was a 20-point scorer with the Cavs and
Yes.
about 18,
And
19 with the
Clippers,
Clippers
yeah.
before his knee kind of got tore up, and then he just kind of became a role player with them. He was a big guard, but he at one point he was making decent money. I think more than Mike.
And then and then you talk about the role players you're talking about. You talk about getting a big man who can pass in the triangle, shooters and Paxson and Kerr, even B.J. Armstrong. You saw what he did when he went to
Man,
Charlotte. Like,
they went and got Bill Winnington, man. That was Winnington and Cartwright. Those some big moves
yeah,
for him too.
and it's like man, this guy did everything. I'm not gonna say he did everything right, but 6 championships. Yes, you had the best player in the game. Yes, you had Scottie Pippen, who was arguably top 5, the top 10. Phil Jackson, the best coach in the game. I mean, yes, you had all that factors, but you also probably was the best GM in the game. So I mean, I don't understand how we, continue to knock him. I get it. I understand he kind of broke it up too fast. I guess a year too fast. That's really all it was. It was 1 year because I don't think they would have beat Shaq and Kobe in 2000, and I'm not quite sure if they beat Tim Duncan in '99. I'm not sure. Rodman was getting old. Pippen was getting up there. Like everybody was getting old.
Yeah, like, I don't think they broke it up too fast. I think that's just the illusion or the aura that's kind of put out in the atmosphere because salary cap was changing. Scotty had already kind of said he was done.
Mm-hmm.
Mike only wanted to play for Field. So when you had so many things going on in the midst of all that, it would have been hard to bring everybody back. Granted, they didn't know at the time it was going to be 50 games. They were still thinking it's going to be a full 99 season. But kind of once you get through the hindsight point of it, like, 50 games, Scotty, Mike, and Rodman could have probably made it 50 games and, won 35. And you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. So it's possible. But, man, just all those moves Jerry Krause made, he never really got the credit that he deserved. So that's the sad part. All those trades, and granted, his ego might have gotten away at certain times. And even around 93, 94, they didn't know Mike was coming back. Like, he went in fully committed to baseball. So they didn't know he was coming back. So when he was trying to shop Scottie Pippen for different things, that was kind of somewhat warranted to a certain degree, but not fully, but somewhat.
Yeah, I think what the rumor was Sean Kemp and Jalen Rose, something like that.
Yeah, Sean Kemp at one point. Yeah, Jalen Rose. So it was kind of warranted to a certain degree. Now you can't you can justify at the time they knew what Scotty was, but they didn't know he was going to elevate to that MVP caliber season that year.
Right.
So we kind of got to talk about who the real villain is in all of this. The real bad guy is the other Jerry, and we not talking about Jerry Springer. We're not talking about Jerry Springer.
That's funny.
We're talking about Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls and the Chicago White Sox. He's the real villain in all of this because as the owner, you had the power to change all of this, to insert yourself, and he did at certain points. So it's curious to see, like, why didn't he do it at other points? Now, granted, Scotty signed that 91 contract during the finals of 91. He signed that bad contract, the 7 year stuff like that. And Jerry kind of said in the doc, like, hey, when you sign this, don't come back asking for more. But, man, once Mike leaves, you kind of should take care of your now star player because you didn't know Mike was coming back. You should revise this guy's contract, bump him up some, or even once Mike does come back, Scotty was still performing at an elite all-star level. He was still, like I said, top 5 to top 10 player in the game. Mm-hmm. Why not compensate this guy fairly? He's the 120-something highest paid player in the game. Like, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Like, you're winning championships. He's making all-star games, all defensive teams. No, I know Jerry Cross is your GM and you want to empower him, but you stepped in and make sure Phil came back and got paid. When Mike came back, you made sure Mike got his 30+ million both times. Why not also take care of Scotty? When everybody agreed to bring in Dennis, you were cool with that, so why not go empower Scotty and give him a deal?
Yeah, and
revise his deal. Like that's messed up.
And we always talk about, like, the only thing Cross made a mistake was, in my opinion, was to get rid of Phil Jackson. I thought Phil Jackson could have ushered in the new era, better than anybody else could. But whatever, he had his problems with Phil. But it's like, Jerry, like, tell Cross that Phil Jackson's not going nowhere. Like, simple, nip in the bud right then. Jerry Jones always nip everything in the bud. Some rise with Mark Cuban, nip in the bud. Like, all the great owners that we see around all the sports, They nip it right there. Crab. Bill Belichick wanted to trade Brady 2 or 3 years ago, and
Like
he said no.
every owner steps in.
You're not about to mess with my money, and getting rid of Phil Jackson is messing with my money because whoever you bring in is not Phil Jackson. So
Or he could have took the opposite approach. He could have said, "Look, Jerry, if you don't stop it, you're gonna be out of here, and we're gonna keep this thing moving without you."
right. And
Now you can also say maybe it don't pan out on the back end like it should because Jerry Krause was a smart GM.
Mhm.
But man, you gotta put these dudes in a room and tell them, look, y'all acting like kids. Cut it out. We are here for business.
Yeah.
Let's win championship,
Yeah.
man. We making so much money. Y'all underpaying Mike. You underpaying Scotty. Y'all selling out the freaking stadium every game. Y'all win all the championships. You're selling all the merch. You on all the magazine covers. I mean, come on, man. Go revive these dudes' contracts. So just sit these dudes in the room and say, look, y'all got to get along together. He could have did so much more throughout that 90s tenure that maybe it doesn't get to the point of where they have to break up.
And on top of that, like they probably if Jerry Krause keeps Phil Jackson, you keep Michael Jordan. You can blow up everything else. I guarantee you all the greats are going to win with. Look at Kobe, who he had after Shaq left and before Gasol arrived. Chris Mim, Romanovich, like we can go down the list of all these bad names and
Big Smush, Big Kwame,
and then the lost years of KG, like all the you have a lot of greats who still going to win games, and you could have let's say they traded Pippen for Mac. You don't think Phil Jackson, T Mac, and Michael Jordan would have been fine together? Definitely. And all Jerry had
probably about 2 years. It probably took about 2 years.
And you still would have been top 5 in the league because you got Michael Jordan. So, it's all that, all you had to do was stop it, and you could have saved Chicago basketball for a while. Now, granted, they wasn't that bad. I mean, they didn't hit on Jordan, but you had Chandler come through. Kirk Howard was a nice addition. Ben Gordon,
but that's the point. Like Jerry Krause did all of that. Jerry Krause went and found. Well, he didn't have to find them because they were great college players, high school players. But he drafted Ron Artest and Elton Brand and Tyson Chandler and Eddie Kerr, whose career didn't pan out how he thought it would pan out. But Eddie Kerr was a talented dude at the time. He drafted Jay Will, who had an unfortunate accident. So Jerry Krause, Ben Gordon, he was drafting all these good people.
that's a good resume right there.
But in the end, and granted, you miss on some, you trade some picks. That kind of comes with the business. But he was hitting on picks. It's just once y'all blew it up, it was kind of like, all right, but we just kind of gonna be a bad franchise perennially because they hadn't really done anything. They had the D Rose years, but that wasn't under their watch. But outside of Derrick Rose years and a few with Gordon, Dang, and Heinrich, they really haven't been on the radar like that. and to be one of the major markets to have that kind of downfall from the highs of the 90s with Michael Jordan to now, all because y'all couldn't get along and keep the coach and the player for a few more years. Like, y'all could have kept Mike and let him play a little bit longer, but they wanted to be stubborn about it. And Reinsdorf could have stepped in and fixed all of that.
Yep. Come on, Jerry. Let's switch over to the football side. And this one probably more for me. I know we talk about it a lot of times, but they said this guy done blew 2 Super Bowls already in his very young career. And okay, you can make a point, and that's why he is a villain in the story. But it's like we as the media people attack him a lot, and without him, this team does not get to the final, to the Super Bowl. And where have they been since he left? Nowhere.
Hey,
nowhere.
Out of the playoffs, almost irrelevant.
Right, and now you got his former quarterback. People kill him all the time because they can't win. He get their MVP season. So another than Kyle Shanahan, you see. All right, so if we're talking about grand schemes of things of coaching, like Kyle Shanahan learned from his dad, John Gruden, Gary Kubiak. So he got great minds all up in his head. He was under Jay Gruden in Washington with Sean McVay, LaFleur, all them guys over there. So he got a lot of knowledge of
the
this
fact
offense.
that they didn't win games with that kind of staff.
That's crazy.
That tells you a whole lot about why they changed their doggone name from that R word.
Facts. But
go by that DC Defenders name too.
DC Defenders, I like it. Red Tails, man. So it's like y'all kill Kyle Shanahan because you're saying that his offense didn't do enough or they didn't adjust in the second half. All right, so after they went to the Super Bowl, the next season, Patriots and Rams. That was what the worst Super Bowl from a scoring standpoint ever. Sean McVay, our offensive guru, couldn't put up a touchdown against Bill Belichick. But the year before, Kyle Shanahan put up 28 to 31 points on this guy. And so I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, how much did he have to adjust to put up 28 points? Because this 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl, 28 points is right where you need to be if you want to be in the game.
Pretty much.
So
could have and should have won it.
Right. So it's kind of like 28 points is enough in the Super Bowl. Like that's just what it is. And they was out there 28-3, and they always go infamous in this situation because you never see a team come back in that deficit from that time stand. It wasn't first half. This was third quarter midway, and you're able to give the game up in such a fast pace. And Kyle Shanahan get all the reaps because Matt Ryan took a sack. The veteran MVP, knowing the situation, took a sack. His offensive holding.
Like, people forget that the NFL has a running clock, so like to give up that lead, that is very alarming with a running clock. So if you're just doing any type of play, or if you're just spinning around, unless it's an incomplete pass, the clock is always running.
Yeah, and you can say, and you can't play that. I'm just gonna run the ball game because it's easy to just pin your ears back and go get the running back. That's easy. So you have to mix things up. So people are like, why are you still passing? What do you mean? Why am I still passing the ball? I have to. Like, you can't just be one dimensional when you're the team that's winning. Like Patriots, all they're gonna do is throw the ball now because they're down 28-3. Falcons, you got the whole playbook is wide open, and what worked in the first half didn't work as well in the second half. It's Bill Belichick, the best coach in NFL history. So it's kind of like, how much he has to do? How many points he had to put up to win the Super Bowl? If I'm up 28-3, I still got to keep scoring. 31, 38, 42. How much do I really need? And I think he get a bad rep for that because if 28 points was enough to win the next Super Bowl, the year after, like how come 28 wasn't enough to win this one?
Yeah, I guess the only weird thing you could say is like they should have probably used more of the play clock. They were still kind of running plays pretty fast and efficient, but that is part of the offense. We're not gonna just let the clock get down to 5, 4, 3, and then hike the ball because now it's coming, so your defense can. All right, well, they
time
hike
it.
the ball.
Yeah, time the snap. Yeah, you got to be unpredictable in that situation. So I say all that to say who the real villain is. So the actual villain is none other than Dan Quinn in that Atlanta defense. So first off, they gave up an 80-yard touchdown drive. So at the Falcons punt. So at 28-3, Falcons punt. 9 minutes left in the game, third quarter. 80-yard touchdown. That's okay. So now it's 28-10 or 29 because I think they went for 2 or whatever. Gostkowski missed one to 2. It's 9 points. Okay, Falcons go down the field. Have the then Matt Ryan get the sack, so they punt again, whatever. They go on a 75-yard drive. Defense did get a sack. So Grady, Jerry, and all them guys, they was hooping. Get a sack. Had a kick field goal. All right, it is what it is. So defense, that's fine. You don't give a field goal, but it's still within 75 yards. Like they working on you now. Then Matt Ryan had the fumble. Okay, so we understand comebacks. You're going to have turnovers because you can't let the team go 12, 13 play drives. So a turnover had to happen, and I think when you watch that, it's kind of like Matt Ryan. Are we blaming Kyle Shanahan for Matt Ryan fumbling the ball? Like what's the issue on that? So
he's not on the field playing.
Right.
He's not blocking for him. He didn't knock the ball in his hand.
Exactly. So and then it was you remember that crazy
like long the short eating that popcorn like Brucey.
You remember that crazy catch Julio Jones made on the sideline, which should have got picked off, but he made a crazy catch on the sideline. They're in field goal range. What happens after that?
Yep.
Holding call. I guess it's Kyle Shanahan's fault. I guess it's Kyle Shanahan's fault to get a holding call and go back. Now you're back 10 yards and you get sacked. So now you can't score. So that's 31 right there, and you already in field goal range on the catch. So it's kind of like we can run the ball, but it's like we want to get a touchdown and put them away. That's kind of thinking I think Kyle Shanahan had, and you know things happen, but to give up 25 points in less than 25 minutes of play clock. I think that's I think Dan Quinn. I've never seen a defensive head coach get so much of a pass that he got, and because nobody ever talked about him blowing the game. Like,
man, Dan Quinn been blowing games since that point.
And now he don't have that. He don't have. It's the reason why Atlanta ain't been winning since Kyle Shanahan left. Because Kyle Shanahan was the guy that put Matt Ryan on the map as far as to exceed him to MVP level. Matt Ryan is a great quarterback without Kyle Shanahan, but with him, you're talking about top. I mean, that year he's the best quarterback in the league. So it's how much can we put on Dan Quinn when you're defensive minded? You're up 25 points. I guarantee you gave Bill Belichick that lead.
If you go spot Pete Carroll,
Mike Zimmer.
We saw what happened with the Broncos. Broncos got their behind shut out by Seattle.
You got Mike Zimmer, Mike Tomlin, who was defensive minded, that's in the league. Even Vic Fangio and Denver Broncos. You gave him a 28-3 lead. They're not losing that game. I'm sorry. And it's the reason why Dan Quinn should have been out of here. We was advocating for him to get out of here this past season. We was like, Arthur Blake, you better hit that. You better hit that. What's Atlanta airport? Hartsfield. Better go on over there.
Hartsfield Jackson.
You better go on over there and give him that pink slip because he can get out of here. And you see them win games late in the season, so he keep his job. But it's like, bro, you gave. I've never seen a defensive minded coach. And then if you saying Kyle Shanahan is doing this, doing that, when have we ever seen a head coach not go over to the offensive coordinator and say, hey, I need you to let's do this. Let's do this. Like you see Mike Tomlin do it all the time. Bill Belichick do it all the time. Like, hey Josh, you gotta chill. You can't be doing this, right? We gotta do this. And what Josh gonna do?
You killing my defense, or you killing us on the field.
I'm gonna say it's the reason why Pete Carroll wants to run the ball all the time because he don't want his defense to get destroyed like that. So I don't know. I think a Dan Quinn, it was really his fault and that defense fault for letting not the 80-yard touchdown drive, 75-yard field goal drive, and even they went on a 90-yard drive to tie the game up. Like, they went far. You had the Edelman catch that was crazy, but all luck is involved. But you let a lot of things happen, and I think he deserved to be the villain in that story.
It's just one of those things where Kyle Shanahan, he has that last name, so you kind of factors into it. And he's been kind of deemed as the quote unquote next guy for a long time. So I think with all things considered, he's supposed to be the boy wonder, the offensive genius and stuff like that. Why can't he figure out to just stop being aggressive with the call? So I think that kind of played into it. Versus you got Dan Quinn. People don't really now, or honestly have ever thought really highly of Dan Quinn. Like a whole lot of people haven't really been putting him in their top 10 coaches in the league, nothing like that. So considering all those kind of factors of just that Shanahan last name coming from that pedigree of the coaches he's been around and being deemed as that next guy, he's gonna be the next great head coach in this league at some point. That was kind of just a way to kind of chink his armor a little bit, pretty much. Yeah.
And on top of it, they say he blew another Super Bowl, but we both watched Jimmy G and who was that? Sanders.
Sanders, yeah, he overshot
3-4 yards. I guess it's Kyle Shanahan's fault. He got to throw for the quarterback too. We got one more for y'all. I think it's pretty funny. This is his name. This is Bill Vinovich. We mostly know him. He's a ref. He was part of that game. The defensive pass interference game, the NFC Championship game with the Rams and the Saints. Now, he's the villain in this story because he's the one that makes the final call that he could change other guys' calls and say, we're going to go with this. You review. Obviously, you can't review it, but y'all talking in the huddle and you saying it's fine. Nothing happened. It was clean, which we all know. I know it pass interference. Everybody in the world know it was pass interference on that call. And what it would have done if they called it first down, like a minute 40 seconds left, kick the field goal, Super Bowl. We all know that. We all know how it's going to fold after that. Um, but it's kind of like
Assuming the kicker don't miss
assuming the
or
kicker don't
gets
miss
blocked.
or get blocked. So I guess a lot of factors still weigh in. But it's kind of like so this whole because of this game, every game last year was impacted because of this game with all the challenge instituted in and the defense never won. You never if you challenge it, you never won. You never won.
They can't set that precedent.
Right. So you never won. So it really was no point. And we did all this because the Saints fans were mad, upset about the outcome of the game, which before and after you had plenty of chances to not only win the game but to put it away, and you didn't. So I mean, no, I'm not giving the refs the I guess pass in the situation, but I mean they played a big part. But then they gave you a pass interference call in overtime. So it's not a makeup call, but it's kind of like, okay, well, we kind of screwed that a little bit. So let's try to help you a little bit, but we can't just go ahead and Buffalo Wild Wings this thing and just give you the Super Bowl appearance. So it's kind of like so now you got to go win the game, and it's kind of who I think the villain is. It's kind of you probably knocked me in for this one, so I can understand. You want to say anything before I say who the villain is?
No, go ahead with it.
All right, so you probably don't agree, but it's fine. I understand. But I think the villain is Drew Brees, and I know it's kind of like he been in the media a lot, for his words about the whole Black Lives Matter stuff and all that with the flag. But in this situation, to me he go down as the villain in this one story because after when they go to overtime, they get the ball first. Now, when Drew Brees get the ball, Aaron Rodgers, Brady, Peyton Manning, and even Pat Mahomes, what are you thinking? Game over. You might as well go in. It's over. If they get the ball first in overtime, you might as well go and pack your bags because they go in the Super Bowl, and it doesn't matter. Like Drew Brees gonna win this game, especially after being robbed like that. Oh, he's come with a vengeance. This is one arguably a top 10 quarterback all time. So you have to be like, all right, Drew Brees on the field. He about to take over. So the reason why I made him the villain is because you remember the Josh Allen lateral whatever crap he was doing against the Texans.
So it was so unnecessary, man.
So unnecessary. So I
It was funny though.
It was funny. I kind of compared to this a little bit, because when in the interception that Drew Brees threw, I thought it was so bad. Now he did get hit, but when you watched it from all different angles, he was just throwing the ball. Like Michael Thomas was covered, and I think Traquan Smith coming across, the safety was on top of him. So unless you was hoping for your guy to go make an amazing play, this play wasn't going to be successful regardless. And I think it's like, is he just throwing the ball because I got Michael Thomas and you don't, so I'm gonna throw the ball, or was he in the mindset like I'm about to get sacked? Throw it and that's why I feel like he was in a situation just like Josh Allen was like lateral. Like, I don't know. I think like a split decision.
Josh Allen he was just playing Madden in real life. That's all that was. He was like, look, I see the goal line. I want to keep the play alive. Just flick it on back.
And he probably saw them highlights that people winning games off that. So trying to make a play, but it's like, and I feel like Drew, you didn't have to take the sack. You could have took the sack. Like, obviously you try to make a play and go to the Super Bowl, but it's like he was in your face and you 6 foot. You're not tall, so you got to get the ball out fast. And you got to say, let's see what happens. And we saw it happen. Got picked off, and it was a bad interception. And it's kind of like the last, like this last playoffs and that playoffs, like he had a big turnover in the game where he don't get criticized for it at all. And I thought like even before that defensive pass interference call, he threw the ball at the dirt to Michael Thomas on first down. That would have been 8 yards. So like you wouldn't even need that pass to Traquan Smith. Why are you throwing Traquan Smith on 3rd and 10 anyway? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not a we need to find Michael Thomas, Kamara. We need to find these guys on these big moments, and you threw the ball in the dirt, and then the pass interference call that they didn't call, and then overtime you get the ball first, and you throw a pick. Like, so that's why he's my villain to me.
Yeah, he's already a made man. It's not too much you can say about Drew that'll get people to turn
Oh yeah,
on Drew or change their opinion. Because once he won a Super Bowl for New Orleans, man,
cemented.
he's a made man. Yeah, it's almost like you can do no wrong. He's done charitable stuff. Just this year he kind of had that moment where it all went left for him. But just in the on the field realm, he's a made man. Nobody's gonna. I mean, you won't see people in the mainstream media really take a shovel and try to bury Drew Brees for making a bad play or something like that. Like it'll always be the refs, or what if they did this instead of that. It'll always be somebody else's fault. Like it won't come down to Drew.
Yeah, I'm about to say because even
The media and the fans just won't allow it. They
the
won't allow. I mean, they call him Breezes. They won't allow criticism of Breezes.
I'm about to say you got the Minnesota Miracle happened to him. It wasn't his fault, but it was the reason why you were down 20-0 in the first place. That's all I'm gonna say. You got that year with the pick, and you got the last playoff loss against the Vikings where you fumbled the ball like in field goal range, and you gave Minnesota opportunity to win the game, which they did. And it's kind of like
O-line fault.
it's all my fault.
Everybody's
They
fault.
should have blocked.
It's not Drew Brees' fault.
Yeah. So I feel like he need to be a villain in some story, and I'm gonna pick him for this one because, like you said, he gets a lot of pass. I think all our villains got a pass. Like nobody talk about George Hill at all. Nobody talk about the owner, and he was on the 10-part documentary. Like nobody said nothing about, it's why didn't he just nip it in the bud? Nobody said that. And then you got the Atlanta defense. Nobody cares about the game of 25 points in a quarter and a half, but Kyle Shanahan supposed to score more points. So it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's the nature of the game, man. Everybody kind of picks, plants the foot in the dirt on one side, and that's just kind of how the story rocks.
Yeah. So hey, that's our first live show with the Unwrapped Sports. Coming back, I think we got a break tomorrow, but check out the Thursday show and Friday. I think we got the Unwrapped Bet show that I'm putting in my money, man, because they didn't bless my pockets. I need it,
man. They can bet all the time, man. That's free money.
That's free money, and you can't go wrong with free money. So,
yeah, no doubt.
All right, man. We preach, can't preach. We're Rashad. We out. Till next time.